One of the most important parts of Roblox doors is the rooms. Without them, doors literally wouldn't exist. There'd be no entities to survive, no bosses to fight, and no lore to discover. But despite that, it's just the same few boring rooms again and again and again. So to fix that, I'm creating a ton of brand new rooms to fix replayability in Roblox doors. Starting off with one of the rooms that I actually made in Roblox Studio. This is a room that I've had the idea for a long time, but I just never got around to actually making it. The reason I felt this room is necessary is because the current greenhouse only has 2 different room layouts. And while some people think that may be fine because there's only 10 rooms of it, I think it's a problem. Because these 10 rooms are rooms that are guaranteed to spawn every single run you play, and it gets really boring over time just seeing these 2 repeat. So, I present to you the outside greenhouse room. Yeah, I need a better name. So walking into this room, it looks sort of like a normal greenhouse until you see the turned over garden bed blocking the door to exit. And when you look to your side, you find a tree that fell and smashed through the glass, letting you go outside. But here you can look around. I think it looks pretty cool. There's some lockers to hide in, and when you're done, you can go through these stone brick walls and get back inside. And from here, you can see out to where you just were. And also, you can completely disregard the fact that there's a moon and a bunch of stars in the sky, because in the Doors world, that's not how it works. Now, other than the room that I was just talking about, some other cool greenhouse rooms that I think would be amazing to be in the game are maybe one with a pond with some fish swimming around or whatever. I'll put some pictures of my real-life inspiration for this. And lastly, I think a room with a big tree in the middle would be really cool. So anyway, the next room that What the?
Now it's time for me to show you my rooms I created. Also, if you don't know who I am a kind of cool doors YouTuber called Cubernate with 7,000 subscribers, and I'm mainly known for my badge idea videos, but here I am with some room ideas to show Jackmeleon. Jackmeleon. Huh? So the first room I created is a unique circular room, and there are some stairs that go down into a lounging area, and there is caution tape on one side of the stairs, which will make it a safe spot. And up the stairs is the next room. The next room is kind of like one of those destroyed rooms after 50, but it's not too destroyed. But it has a unique mini creature camp that passed, and now there is a skeleton there. It has a snare and a journal there too, but there isn't anything on it. And upstairs there is a nice dining room, with a plank over to possible loot.
Wow, Cubernate, that's pretty good. But let's check out the kitchen room I made. Okay, but first let me explain why I think Doors needs a kitchen room in the first place. So we all know how Doors has dining rooms. That's where the whole hallway is. But where does all that food come from? How are people gonna eat if there's no kitchen? Yes, I know the room that you get the dough badge technically is a kitchen sort thing, but it's not exactly. So having a more behind the scenes room showing where the staff would have cooked the meals at the hotel would be really cool. Let me show you. So this is the hotel kitchen. Obviously there'd be more variations because a hotel doesn't just have one place to cook. Okay, well sometimes it does, but this one doesn't. This one's big. So when you first walk in the room, you're immediately met with the kitchen counter. And when you go behind it, you get a pretty unique floor, being the black and white kitchen counters that you see in a lot of kitchens. I think it actually suits the door style pretty good. I also got a lot of little models that fit the door style, like this cool stove, the sink, which I had to put water in, which kind of looks like ice, but it's the best I could do. And there's a little back room with a fridge, some brooms, and some boxes. If you look on the back table, you can also see some of the assets that are used in the dough room. The rest of the room is pretty basic. Don't mind the fact that there's no door there. I forgot. But overall, I'm just really proud of how this room looks. If the devs want to give this room some unique gameplay, what you could do is create some sort of pick-locking puzzle where you have to get one of the utensils from over here and then bring it to the door and complete some sort of pick-locking minigame that only happens for this specific room type. But for now, let's go check out some of Cubernate's room types.
So remember how Cheddarballs was talking about a possible seek and figure chase for a batch update? Well, I made some rooms for that. The first one is actually a Jeff shop room. I don't know why I made this, but I think it's pretty unique nonetheless. Underneath rubble is hiding El Goblino, which you can't really see, and you can see Jeff pulling Bob underneath the grate. Next one is one of those long hallway rooms, but I wanted to make it look different. I also made a mini hotel room. Side room because I thought that hotel side rooms need to have more variety than the same chests or closet side rooms. And the biggest one of them all, I gave it a unique rim color and wallpaper color in this room, is a lounging room which you see at hotels, furnished with tables and sofas and chairs to sit down on, and many drawers to loot.
Now for my final hotel room before we go check out the ones I made for the mine. This room expands upon something we already have in the hotel, being the office. Yes, I know. Archives. The archives is an entire floor dedicated to offices, but we already have something like this in the hotel, so why not make something a little bigger? A little more grand. I introduced to you the double office room plus elevator plus fireplace. I love coming up with names. As you can probably tell by the name, there are 2 offices, plus 1 elevator, plus a fireplace. The thing with this room though is that unlike the other one we have, this is not destroyed. This will kind of show you what the room was like before the bookshelf fell over and the glass broke. Now, while making this room, I had a lot of trouble with the lighting, and it still isn't perfect, but I think you can see the vision. This room would have shown where the higher-ups of the hotel would have worked, or when some people come to stay in the hotel and they need a place to work, this is where it will go. And the fireplace just makes it cozy. If the devs wanted to give some gameplay to this room, I feel like this would be a really good room to be a key room. Oh my gosh, how many times am I gonna say room? But I do think this would work pretty well as one. But next, I want to show you this pretty cool, yet simple mines room that I'm surprised isn't in the game already. It's a crystal cave. I'm sure a ton of people have had this idea previously, but I think it's just too cool not to include. I like the sort of blue glowing crystals. I think it looks really cool in this room, and there could be tons of variations. Even if they just take pre-existing rooms, slap a few crystals in it, that'd be cool. And overall, it just makes for some really cool lighting. And over in this extra little part of the room, I added a minecart with crystals in it, just showing how this is something that they used to mine and collect.
Now I had a lot more rooms, but I lost them, so I am going to describe them. I had made a massive reception room like door 0 with a second floor for storage, which had a lot of loot and hiding spots. On the bottom floor, which is where you actually need to go through, there's lots of dining tables. The next room is a mini outdoors reference. It's a straight room which could appear in the greenhouse with a mandrake hole and a monument. I also made a small 3-floor backdoor room with a ramp and side room on at the back of it. But anyways, that is all my room creations and ideas.
Thanks, Cube. Now, time for my second mines room, which takes place over a large crevice. This room is mainly to get more use out of the ladders, which are only really present in a few rooms, and you really don't have to interact with much. This room is a little dark, so bear with me, but take a look. You come in through here into a little sort of caved out area into the wall. There's a few places to hide, some things to loot, and you can look over into the big crevice. But the bulk of this room takes place on a scaffolding, hanging off the wall of the cave. On the scaffolding, you have to traverse 2 different bridges and climb up 2 different ladders. You go up a few layers until you get to the very top, where you can then exit the room. And while it's a pretty tight fit, there are some places to hide and loot on the scaffolding, so that if rush comes, you're not absolutely screwed. The top area is pretty basic, there's not much to look at, but I just wanted to show you that it does exist. And if there was another variation of this room, it would be where the scaffolding goes back and forth on both walls of the ravine instead of just going up one. And now for the final room I built, the minecart maze. This room wouldn't show up too often, and it would have a cap of 1 per run so that it doesn't become too repetitive or annoying. But the point of this room is really just to shake up the gameplay, because it's not really like anything we've seen anywhere else in the game. Entering the minecart maze room, it doesn't look exactly what you'd think. It's not a maze yet. You don't really have much place to walk until you get up past the steps and into the side room. And here you'd find the terminal, which lets you choose the path you want the minecart to go. When you click on it, it brings up this sort of screen. In the screen, you have to switch the tracks to go the right way, so you don't go into any dead ends and you can get to the next room. Once you've essentially programmed the cart, you get into it, the little arm lifts, and you go. Now, I didn't model this entire room, I didn't really have any time, and I really needed to get this video out, so just imagine these black boxes are just more tracks. There'd be quite a few random branching paths that you can take, and once you go through the right one, you get to the next room. Really, there's nothing you can do to control the cart once you're in it, you only control where it goes at the terminal. I just really like this idea because the only other time in the game where you ride the minecart is during the minecart chase, and I think the game needs more of that because it's really cool. But that is all the rooms I have for this video. If somehow you think that this series needs a part 4, leave a comment telling me you want it, but I don't know if I can keep coming up with new rooms, since this is already part 3 of the series, and if you haven't watched the first 2, go do that. But anyways, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I want to give a huge shout out to Cubernate for being in this video and helping me out.
Thanks Jackmeleon for having me in your video, and make sure to subscribe to him and me if you want.
But once again, thank you so much for watching this video. Have an impeccable day, and goodbye.